Your hair really looks a lot different once it's clean, Lauren.
Does.
Yeah. So your hair definitely looks different once it's clean.
My hair?
Yeah, it's like night and day.
I don't have any hair.
I know, that's the joke.
Oh. Vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow to view, vow, 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 vow to view,
Vow to view each other's movies, even though we don't always like them. But it's okay because we love each other and movies too.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Vow to View, a Doof Media podcast all about marriage and the things that make each other watch. My name is Elyse Daly.
And I'm Scott Daly.
And together,
we're the Dailies.
I don't know what you're doing with your arms. Flailing around.
I'm trying to bring the energy level up, so I thought if I moved around.
Why do I not have enough
a
energy?
little bit more. I'm trying to bring my energy level up.
You've got enough energy, evidently.
Don't make this all about you.
It's always about me.
No. This is the weekly podcast where my wife, Elyse, and I each select a movie tied to a theme of our choice.
Yes.
And then we make the other person watch it. Mm-hmm. We talk about that movie.
We do.
What we learned about it. We learned about relationships, about love, about each other.
Indeed. All of those things.
This week.
And, yes.
We begin a new theme.
We do. We did. About to. We've already started
Your
it.
tenses are really confusing me.
Exactly.
Here. Your tenses are making me tense.
I'm good at that.
What is the name of the theme that we started?
Murder, She Wrote.
Which is also the name of a television show.
I know, Angela Lansbury. I love Angela Lansbury.
So I think the idea here is that we each pick one of our favorite films about murder and journalism.
I don't know if yours is journalism at all. It was kind of me I couldn't remember how much murder mine had to do with it. So I thought Murder, She Wrote would get both of them together.
Oh, mine has journalism.
Oh, it does?
Yeah. And yours has murder, which we didn't know when you picked the movie.
Well, I knew it did just a little bit, but I didn't remember because it had been so long, and we'll go into this.
Yeah.
But
what was the name of the movie you picked?
His Girl Friday.
His Girl Friday.
1940s.
1940.
His Girl Friday.
Black and white.
Yeah.
Cary Grant.
Classic.
Can't wait to talk about it.
Rosalind Russell, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah. Who's that?
She doesn't know much.
Who's that?
I probably shouldn't talk about the trivia that I found about
Not
her.
yet.
And her jowls.
What? We'll circle back around to that.
I hope I don't forget.
First.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for...
Oh, it is. The Bachelorette. Yeah, Scott was already determining what type of barf noise he wanted to do during the show because he got disgusted while watching the show.
Oh, boy. This show,
Yeah.
Elyse. So, this is the part of the show where we talk about the latest episode of The Bachelorette.
Right off the press.
Well, for us.
For us.
Not for the people actually listening to this.
Yeah. So this is the first week of the actual dates for the episode. She had her first one-on-one date. She had 2 group dates this week.
She
the
did.
First group date I thought was kind of fun. It was the Mr. Right pageant because she was a beauty queen. So she was she is Miss Alabama right now. So they were doing
She's right now?
Yeah. She was just in the Miss USA pageant. She didn't win.
Huh. I didn't know they let them do that.
Yeah. She's currently Miss Alabama.
Cool.
I don't know if she had to give up her crown in order to do this.
Maybe she should give up her crown to approach those draconian abortion laws. Yeah.
I kind of wonder if they're going to ask her anything about that.
That would be political and controversial. Ergo, no.
Anyways, so they had the Mr. Right pageant, and that was really fun. They had the guys, they had to have a Speedo contest where they strut their stuff in their Speedo, and then they had a talent portion, and then the judges helped, or didn't really help her pick. The judges just picked. Did Maggie fart?
Oh, yeah, it's
Maggie
bad.
farted really bad. Sorry.
I was trying
it hasn't made its way over to me yet.
I wasn't going to interrupt you, but it's
okay.
It's real bad.
I could tell that you thought it was bad. So then she had a one-on-one date. They went go-kart racing to get dirty and mudding. I don't know. I've never really done that before. And then she had another group date where they went to the roller derby, and they were having a roller derby competition, which I thought was fun. And
did you ever see that movie, Whip It?
Yeah, I did.
It's a good movie.
Ellen Page?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually liked it.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, so they had that. Then during that group date, one guy who was really upset that he didn't get to be on a group date decided to show up
Yeah.
to the group date.
Let's talk about our cast of characters because there's like a shit ton of dudes here.
Yes.
But really, there's like 3 of them that we actually care about. Maybe.
You care about.
Maybe 3.
Yeah.
But you care about more than 3?
I mean, I care about some of the ones that are not quite as prevalent yet, but they're really cute.
Okay, that's not...
And I think that they could be nice.
All right, guy number 1.
Yeah.
Fake born-again Christian man.
Yes, Luke P.
So I'm shocked that you know these people's names. So this guy...
I know a few of their names.
In his opening video...
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, man, I was in college... And I was like banging all kinds of chicks. It was just like bang, 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 bang. And then I was in the shower and God came to me. And look, no shade on people on board again, religious people.
No.
Chase your bliss. Like, that's great. This is bullshit. Like, this is like,
I take issue. I specifically take issue with it being someone who is religious, who grew up in a Christian household, and I feel like a lot of times part of what makes people very apprehensive about anyone who is religious at all is because there are people who are in front of television and doing things like this to where it is the complete double standard that everyone thinks of when they feel as though it's something with the church, you know? And I think that depending upon how you were brought up and the church that you were in, your view of the church can be very different than some other people's. But I had been very blessed to have not had, like, my church was not as, you know, well, you don't know, but not as like seemingly double standard, sort of like two-faced sort of thing. And I think that sometimes that can be, you're not necessarily walking the walk and you're just talking the talk, and that seems to be kind of like what Luke is doing. And he decided, you know what, in order to get on reality TV, I can say that I'm a Christian. I can say that I used to screw all these women. Now I'm not. That could be my storyline.
Yeah.
And then it's like, because that worked for someone else, that's what he wants to do too. And he's taking it to an extreme that is putting Christianity in a bad light. And that's what I don't like.
well, and it's just like, I don't know, like, it's just weird to, like, the way he described his life beforehand, it's like he was kind of bragging about it.
Yes.
Right? Like if your narrative is, I did all this stuff, I'm ashamed of this behavior, I was not behaving properly,
Yes.
I was not behaving healthily for myself, and then I discovered a religion and it led me to a healthier, happier life.
Then you shouldn't be taking your shirt off in front of the girl
And you
while
shouldn't
you're
be
trying to
bragging
get her
about-
massage.
You shouldn't be bragging about the number of chicks you banged during that time. Like, his whole
Yeah.
thing was like, no, like, it was, guys, it was a lot of girls.
Yeah.
It was, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
chill out.
I don't think that he's
also most
quite had the
importantly,
encounter that
most
he feels as
importantly,
though he's had.
the beard, the
Yeah,
line on his beard, it's too high up. It's too high up. Now, it's a careful balance. You don't want to go too low. You got the neck beard.
Yeah.
But you go too high, I don't like that line. I don't like that beard line. And I'm
You
something
know,
of a beard expert.
I bet you he's one of those people that, like, if he were to go on the Titan Games, he would not do very well because all that he does is he just bodybuilds and he doesn't have that, you know, like, actual athletic prowess to be able to go and do all of the agility things to the best because he's just tried to, like, bulk up so much that he's just stock.
Sure.
Anyways,
I
that bothers me.
I don't know how you managed
too.
to bring the Titan Games into it, but well done.
Thank you.
So that's Born Again Bullshitter. Next on the list,
The Rock would not like him. Yes,
we
next
got-
on the list.
we got Cam.
Cam.
The
ABC, always be Cam.
always be Cam.
That's what I tell myself. ABC, always be Cam.
So Cam is the character who did not get invited on any dates this week.
He was also the one that got the very first rose of the entire show. He met her on the night of after the final rose when they brought in 5 people and he rapped in front of her and she was swept away with his rapping.
Well, Cam, perhaps that's why you didn't get on the first round of dates, because you've met her before.
Yeah.
But Cam said, Cam's whole thing, like, you know how, like, I feel like these people need, like, they have one personality trait they need to latch onto, and that becomes their whole character through the story. And Cam's thing is, well, she said one time that she wants a guy that just takes charge and goes out there. So I'm just going to do that.
So I'm just going to completely disregard the fact that she didn't want me on the date because you know what? Who cares? I wanted to be on the date, so I'm going to go on the date. I'm
just going to show up on the date. I mean, and the funny thing about that is the only way he could get there is like if
a producer said, "Hey, you want to go on the date?"
Exactly. It's like, Cam, you seem really upset that you're not on the date. Yeah, I just want a chance to show her. And it's like, well, didn't she mention something about how like she really wanted to go get her? Yeah, she did. Well, you want to? I mean,
go get her?
We got a car right here. It's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And of course, everyone's pissed off because and they're all like, well, if he's ever on a date, I'm just going to show up on his. And I hope they do. But then he did that weird chicken nugget thing, which, I mean, that was
who
weird.
likes chicken nuggets like that anyway? If you're going to get chicken nuggets, get them from Chick-fil-A.
Look,
not like those gross McDonald's chicken nuggets.
One, are there Chick-fil-A's in LA?
Man, if I were the Bachelorette and someone was going to get me chicken nuggets and they gave me those, I'd be like, you need to get me Chick-fil-A. Because she knows what Chick-fil-A is because she's from the South.
Some people don't like Chick-fil-A.
I don't know who doesn't
Maybe
like
they
Chick-fil-A.
had a sponsorship with McDonald's because they were clearly McDonald's chicken nuggets.
Well, gross.
The point is, he did that thing and he invited another dude to come along because she was talking to some dude. And he's like, yes, other dude, please come into this rose petal heart I made.
That someone else reused later, too.
Yeah, I did see that. And watch as I feed her honey mustard chicken nuggets.
Out of a ring box.
I mean, that was kind of funny.
Was
it? A little funny. A little funny.
But the thing is, too, like the very first date or week, if you don't get asked on a group date, that pretty much means you're automatically going to get a rose because they're not going to kick you off if you didn't get to go on a date and she didn't get to know who you are. So it's like a bye week.
Yeah, it's a bye week. I like that.
It's just... So who's your third person, Scott? So we got Cam, we got Luke P, and we got
Jean-Paul Jean.
Jean-Paul Jones.
His name is Jean-Paul Jean now.
Jean-Paul. Okay. Jean-Paul Jones. What about him? He's got great hair.
It's kind of like Jean Valjean.
I got it from Les Mis. I got it. I'm just going to pretend that you didn't, but that's fine. Go ahead.
Look, I don't have much to say about this guy.
Other than you like his name.
Except I like his name.
He's got a good name.
He's got long hair. It looks like he's going to be tortured in next week's episode, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah. He slapped his butt in the Speedo. I enjoyed that. I was like, you've got some personality there. Oh, Jean-Paul Jones.
We forgot to talk about the most important thing about Born Again Bullshitter.
Oh, what about it?
He said he loved her already.
Oh, yeah. I'm already falling in love with you. After 2 hours.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that as much as I believe that he found God in the shower. That's what I believe.
He's a liar.
Yeah, he's a liar. And the show's kind of playing up the fact that he's a liar because it ends with him like whispering to her. It's like, I wouldn't tell you this if I didn't 100% believe it. I'm totally straight with you. Straight with you.
Do you think that he really likes her?
I think that he likes being on television. And he likes shaving improperly.
But I think that he really likes to shave the rest of his body.
Yeah, definitely.
He likes to shave things.
This is an ASMR podcast now. It's very exciting. Yeah, so anyway,
hang on, I got something.
Okay, stop it.
I really wanted to bring up what were those movies that you made me watch when we were delayed on our flight? The boyfriend movies, the YouTube.
Oh yeah,
what are those?
It's
that was like ridiculous.
Yeah, I forget.
That was insane.
I forget who the YouTuber is, but it was a comedy video about ASMR role play boyfriends, where it's just like guys pretending to be your boyfriend while also
okay. You can
doing
throw up
ASMR.
in the bucket. Like
yeah.
It was really weird.
It's like, boyfriend, boyfriend role play, you're sick with the flu and he's taking care of you. The sad thing about those is there are probably some lonely people out there that are watching those just to feel connection.
Or they're like little girls. They're like, oh, I guess this is how I should be treated.
You're playing Ultimate with Jesse. I thought I told you not to hang around with Jesse. It's so stupid. Anyway, is that all you want to talk about The Bachelorette?
Yeah.
Hey,
I
guess
think so.
what?
Hey, what?
I'm liking this girl.
I know.
She's fun.
I like her now.
She's fun.
You know, I think that she got a bad rap, bad edit the first go around, but then they probably at least liked her personality producer wise.
Sure.
And they thought that she'd work well. She's very moldable.
She's
And then-
moldable.
Yes. And then after the first thing where she met all the people, I think they were freaking out, and they got her some good coaching. And then it's turned out pretty good. I like her.
Can I say something without you being mad at me?
Yeah.
She's pretty hot.
I know. She's beautiful.
You were talking about the dudes you thought were hot.
Oh my gosh,
so I
she's
feel-
beautiful.
Yeah, she's really hot.
She's very beautiful.
Yeah, that roller derby outfit.
I mean, they're going to put her in stuff like that the whole season.
Oh yeah, they know what they've got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's The Bachelorette, week 1.
Okay. So now we're moving on.
To
The part that nobody ever skips.
Well, okay, you said that last time, and people got very upset.
I know.
They don't
So I'm being
actually skip
serious now. It's literally the part that nobody ever skips.
Oh, you had a little bit of sarcasm in your voice there. It's time for Roses on the Thornies. Every rose has its thorn,
Has its thorn.
just like every night has its dawn.
Dawn, dawn, dawn.
Every cowboy sings a sad song. Every rose has its thorn. Yeah. Jesus.
It's time for the Rosies and Thornies.
This is the part of the podcast where we talk about
And the prick of the finger.
the good things and the bad. We have to stop this. We can't keep doing it.
I also am really hoping that it's not like too soft that people can't hear it.
No, they'll be able to hear.
Are you
I'll make sure
sure?
of it. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll make sure of it.
Okay.
Elyse,
Yeah.
let's start with Thorn.
Yeah,
and
because our
have
thorn
a-
is kind of combined.
We have a co-thorn.
We do.
This week. Do you want to set the stage?
Yeah.
It was a dark and stormy night.
It wasn't very stormy where we were. It was not very stormy, not at all. But there was a storm somewhere else that was really kind of causing some problems.
Just ruined my setup.
So we were in Colorado this past weekend, and we were, driving to the airport, returning our little rental car. We decided we needed to be at the airport at 4, or at least drop off the rental car at 4, because our flight was at 6:23, and we wanted to make sure that we were able to get on all of the buses and through security and everything. So we turn in our rental car. Then we get on the bus that takes us from the rental car place to the airport. And while we are on the bus, your sister texts you and she's like, hey, our flight was delayed. So we're going to be at this Mexican restaurant. If you guys want to join us, we're here. And we're like, oh, yeah, sure. Sorry, your plane's delayed. Ours isn't yet.
Yeah, it's weird that your flight's delayed because we're going to the same place and ours isn't.
Yeah, and it was a couple hours later. So, then I immediately went on and checked the radar for Plano, and it was
you're a weather
not
nerd.
that bad. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, maybe the storm will have passed so that we can get out later. So we go, we meet her. But while we were on the bus, as soon as you texted her and you were like, hey, yeah, our plane's not delayed yet.
Oh, don't make this my fault.
It's not your fault. It's just like karma stuff for us, because we're like, oh yeah, our plane's not delayed. And then literally as soon as that conversation was done and you said that ours wasn't, we got the notification that our plane had been delayed from 6:23 to what,
8:40.
8:40 was the first delay. Yeah. So then it went to 8:40. So we went to go get some drinks, had some chips, have a grand old time. And then we decided, after that, I went to go get some coffee. We went to go wait for the airplane some
these
more.
Are not important details.
Anyways, we're sitting there, and then the plane got pushed back again from 8:40 to
9:55.
9:55, which we thought, oh, this is bad. While we were waiting and our plane got pushed back, luckily your sister and her wife were able to get out. So they were able to make it home, which we're very happy for them, because if anyone needed to make it home out of the 4 of us, they deserved to get home after being gone for camping and roughing it for a while. So we were glad that they got out, but we were hoping to get out too, thinking 9:55. We land at 1 in that case. Not that bad, but we could make it happen. Anyways, then the plane gets pushed back again to 11:15.
Uh-huh.
And at that point, I'm looking and I realized that the other flight that was supposed to have left after us was canceled. So the flight after us that was on the same airline had already been canceled, and ours had been pushed back 3 times. And then finally, at 8 o'clock, no, 8:30,
Canceled.
They canceled our flight. I'd never had a flight canceled in my whole life before.
Welcome.
And now I had.
Yeah, so I mean, as some people might know, my dad is a pilot. So my entire life we've been flying a lot because we got free standby tickets until I was 23, something like that. I don't remember what it was. I was part of the immediate family and got free standby tickets. So we used to fly a lot, probably more than the average person because it was free. But that means I've experienced basically every single thing that can go wrong during plane travel.
Which was good because then you had the knowledge for immediately after our flight was canceled. You went straight onto the app and rebooked. And so our flight was at 5 a.m.
The next morning, 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
So we booked a hotel room at an airport hotel.
Because I'm high maintenance and I didn't want to sleep in the airport. I'm sorry.
If I was still a single man by myself, I would have definitely just slept at the airport. But that's not me anymore. I have a wife.
Thank you for taking care of me.
We stayed at a hotel room.
It's not about to do that.
So yeah, we got into the hotel about 9 o'clock and woke up
At 3.
3. Got on the airplane. It was a very long day yesterday, but everything went okay. At the end of the day, this sucked. It sucked. Being stuck in the airport sucks. I've had to do it. I've spent an entire weekend in the airport. We were trying to get on a standby flight. We tried to make the 5 o'clock flight, and we couldn't get on it. And we spent the entire day at the airport, like going standby for flight after flight after flight.
Not sound fun to me.
And then we were like, okay, we couldn't make it out this day. Let's go home. Let's come back the next day and try again. And fail. So I've been there. It sucks. It's the worst. I hate it. It could have been way worse because, yes, I had the experience and I rebooked us very quickly. And 10 minutes later, every single flight that on Sunday was gone. There were no seats. So,
not to mention we got the premium seats for free, so we had some extra room on the way home. So there were some silver linings. Always got to look for those.
We watched our movie for this podcast in the airport.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun.
I enjoy whenever we do things like that, and then Scott laughs out loud in public, and people are like, "What in the world is he laughing at?" And it's like his real deep. He thinks this is very funny laugh.
I don't understand that.
Scott has different laughs.
Apparently, I have different laughs.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There's this one laugh where he really thinks things are funny. And that one's my favorite.
I'm sorry.
And he had that come out at the airport.
It was funny. It was a funny movie. I'm sorry.
It just made me laugh.
So bad weekend.
Yeah.
A bad day. But
bad day.
Turned out okay.
Yeah. Everything worked out. We got home about the time that we would have started our day anyway.
True.
So it was fun.
All right, Elyse, let's move on to the positive.
To the Rosies. You want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay.
The reason
What was so good?
The reason why we were in Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
Is my rose. My little sister graduated.
Yay!
She got her master's in adult education from Colorado State University.
Not anthropology?
Her undergrad is in anthropology.
Ah, there we go.
You can't reference inside jokes on the podcast. Nobody gets them. Nobody understands.
But then I just had to
explain. I feel like I either have to go through and explain the entire joke, or I just have to ignore it and move on.
Ignore it and
in which
move
case
on.
our listeners are like, "What?"
Exactly.
Huh?
But they're like that anyway whenever I talk.
That's
so
true.
It's fine.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she graduated. She did this online. She's never actually lived in Colorado. She did their online program, but she wanted to go to graduation. It was also a great excuse for them to go hiking through Colorado. So the whole family flew out. My older sister was there, who I hadn't seen in about 6 months because she lives in New York now. My grandparents came up, which is cool. They apparently drove. God,
Yeah.
we did that. It's a long drive.
We did. They split it up though. It wasn't all one day.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was fun hanging out with my family. It was fun seeing her graduate. And I love Colorado. I love
too.
Denver.
I really do too.
love Denver. We went to the Tattered Cover, my favorite bookstore of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Got to see my friend Matt and his kids briefly on Saturday.
Yeah.
Could have been longer, actually. But
Yeah, evidently.
we didn't know.
Went to Denver Biscuit Company.
Oh, delicious.
Such good biscuits.
If you're ever in Denver,
Go to the Denver Biscuit Company.
That's so good. Oh, I'm
It was really
getting
good.
hungry thinking about it right now.
No, I'm not.
So yeah, it was a good weekend with the exception of the bad part of it. But it was fun. We hadn't traveled in a while. It's been since October since we traveled anywhere.
Gosh. That's too long.
Busy life, babe. Our lives are busy. All right,
Summer.
Elyse, what is your road?
Oh, that's what guys, this is the last week of school. I'm about to get out. It's going to be some release. Scott's going to be happier because I'm going to be happier. It's all going to be so much fun. I'm just so excited. I have 2.5 point days.
She's so excited.
I'm
oh my God.
so happy.
Yeah. I'm excited.
This year's just flown right on
by so fast.
And it's really kind of sad because this is a really good group of kids. I really like this group of kids a lot.
That's good. Mm-hmm. Well, that's why the year went by so fast, because they were good.
I guess so.
Congratulations on making it through another year as a teacher.
Thank you. Year 8.
Enjoy your summer.
Thank you.
Don't forget that just because it's summer for you, the rest of us have to work just normally.
Yeah, I know.
So don't forget.
I know.
I love Summer Elyse. Have we talked about how much I love Summer Elyse on the podcast before?
Every time it's come up, you talk about how much you love Summer Elyse.
But on the podcast.
I think
okay.
so.
Oh, guys, I love Summer Elyse. I love Winter Elyse. I love Spring Elyse. I love Fall Elyse. But Summer Elyse, the best.
Are you going to elaborate?
No.
Okay.
I just love her.
Okay. We have this margarita thing on Sunday, but can we do...
It's on Sunday?
Yeah, it's on Sunday. Yeah. Margaritas on Sunday.
Drunk on a Sunday?
Yeah, Memorial Day's the next day.
Oh.
Yeah, do you have Monday off?
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was thinking maybe we could do Ham's Orchard either Saturday this weekend or next weekend.
Are we just doing the thing where we discuss our plans on the podcast?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that later, huh?
But okay.
Because now it is time to talk about
the main event.
No,
drum roll, please. Isn't it?
Yeah. I was going to make a joke about main event, but I realized that that's a local establishment that they already know what the name of the movie is. We said it at the beginning of the show. It's His Girl Friday.
His Girl Friday. The 1940s movie about Hildy Johnson. Rosalind Russell has had enough. Enough with her ex-husband, who always chased a story before he chased her. Enough with the hustle and bustle of New York City. And most importantly, enough with the newspaper business. She's heading up to Albany with her fiancé to start a quiet, happy life. Or that was the plan, until Morning Post editor Walter Burns, Cary Grant, gets in the way. Burns will stop at nothing. Literally nothing to lure Hildy back at the job. And the ex-husband he knows she still loves. I tried to get my reporter voice in.
It's perfect.
Was it kind of reporterish?
It's great.
Okay, thanks.
That's what I was imagining in my head when I wrote it.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Was it really?
Give me some credit.
You know I was going to do a reporter voice?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Elyse, talk to me.
All right, Scotty.
Why'd you wink at me?
I winked?
Yeah.
Like a good wink?
No, it was a bad wink.
Oh.
But it was definitely
I'm not really good at winking.
Talk to me about His Girl Friday. Why did you pick this movie?
So His Girl Friday was the movie that I'm pretty sure I watched a long time ago. It was one of those movies where we went through this phase with Audrey Hepburn and with Cary Grant. And so you're watching all of these Cary Grant movies. And I remember watching this purely because I remember not really liking it, I didn't think, the first time, or like not really fully investing myself into it. I don't know what it was. Maybe the humor like completely went over me when I was that little. Like it was very young.
Yeah, I don't think,
and so I was just trying to...
This is not a movie a kid would enjoy.
No.
Most of the entertainment of the movie is the clever, back and forth repartee between their characters.
Yeah. So it was one that I wasn't really sure that I liked, but we bought it from the Criterion Collection because you would take, me and let me pick out a movie. And I was like, it's a Criterion. It's Cary Grant.
Only when they had sales. I do not buy Criterions at full price. The 50% off sale is the way to go.
Well, I just saw that it looked like a cool movie, and I was like, I'll give this movie another chance. Why not? And so I'm so glad that I did. It was so good.
I love
It's
this movie.
fantastic. Did you know it's one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite movies?
I am not surprised at all.
I know.
Because this dialogue is
so
fantastic.
Good. Okay. So one thing about it too was, I think I told you this with the trivia, that this movie, it was based on a play. It was based on, what was it? The Final Story?
I think Front Page is
The front page. Yes. And it was remade into a movie in the 1970s with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, who, what has Jack Lemmon been in anyways?
You said
Anyways. So,
I'm going to make you watch The Apartment sometime soon. I've just decided.
The movie His Girl Friday, it was shot differently and it took so much longer because the pace of the dialogue for this movie was so much faster than what it was in the 1940s. And then also today, you know, like it's, I think what they said, 90 words per minute is what the normal pace is for a movie. And this one was about 240 words per minute.
Yep.
And so it's just so fast that the logistics, everything, just the technology at the time, it made it so much harder in order to record because of the limitations with the microphones of everything that they had, and they'd have to stop and then re-mic and then it would just go on and on.
Well,
and
yeah,
on.
because so your film track and your soundtrack are different.
Yes, Lessons with Scott.
Yeah, so those are two different things, and they're recorded at the same time, and then as part of the editing process is matching them. But when you have a soundtrack that is stuffed to the gills with dialogue, and you're having to cut back and forth between characters,
And a lot of it was improvised or ad-libbed too, because he wanted it to be
right. So then each take is a little bit different, and it's complex, and you could kind of actually see that in the movie where the editing doesn't quite keep up because there's spots where you can tell they cut to a different take and the characters are like not in the exact perfect same position, right? Like they'll cut from a wide to a medium and the characters like tilted a little bit differently and stuff like that you see in a lot of, you know, very old movies, early movies where they were still kind of refining the technology, and in this movie's case pushing the technology to its absolute limit. This was directed by Howard Hawks. I don't know if you know him. He's a fantastic director. Let me read some movies for you in case you know it.
Please do tell.
He
What would I know?
directed Rio Bravo,
Don't know it.
Gentlemen Prefer Blondes,
I heard of it.
the original Scarface, not the one with Pacino.
There was one before Pacino?
Yes, there's one before. Bringing Up Baby,
I heard of that.
His Girl Friday,
Yeah, I heard that one's a good one too.
Monkey Business, El Dorado. A bunch of movies. He
Okay.
was a very prolific director in the 20s, 30s, 40s,
Okay.
and a little bit into the 50s. And I think he's great. And I had heard, I'd been wanting to watch this movie forever because I had heard such good things about it. And
You're welcome.
I love it.
You're
I love
welcome.
it. Yeah, I'm so glad you made me watch this. I mean, the interesting thing about this movie is this. It's maybe not a movie for our time, right? Because this is a movie that is extremely, extremely critical of journalists and the news industry. I mean, every single one of these characters. I mean, the truth of these characters is they're all scumbags.
Yeah.
Cary Grant's character is a scumbag. Even Rosalind Russell's character Hildy is not a good person.
No.
Like I think the movie is like kind of her realizing that she's not the person she wanted to be. She is this person. Like the only good character you could argue in this entire movie is poor Bruce Baldwin, who is her new fiance. That is just like the punchline.
He's just
And that's actually
dull pencil.
That's one of the things I wanted. A dull pencil. Yeah, you're right. You're right. He's played by Ralph Bellamy, who is just perfect in this like aw shucks, like good guy, don't know any better type role. You know,
My favorite line. Well, I'm an insurance guy, but I guess it don't really do you much good until you're gone.
But so I think the most interesting bit of trivia about this movie,
Yes.
is that the Rosalind Russell character in the original production,
Yes, in the
was
front page.
a man.
Yes, so when they made it with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, that was how the casting was
switched it
supposed
back,
to be.
yeah.
But they did switch it to a girl because I read it 2 different times. One was at a dinner party. He pulled out the script and he had someone read the lines of I don't know who the male character's name is, but Hildy Johnson.
Walter Burns.
No.
Oh, I don't know
I
what
don't
his
know
original name was in the play. Yeah.
So he had one of his female guests read it, and she did such a fun job with it. He's like, oh, this should be a woman. And so he
Women
tried
can
to
do
buy
things.
the
Yeah.
rights. So I've heard it that way. And then I also heard it with whenever they were trying to audition people to see who to play the Walter Burns character, there was a woman who was reading across from the guys that were reading or they were testing.
Yeah.
And that he liked it so much more as the woman being the character as
Yeah.
opposed to a man. So I don't know which one's true. Regardless,
Regardless, this is a woman in a role.
it's a smart decision.
This is a woman in a role that women didn't really get at this time. And you can tell, I mean, that kind of permeates the movie, right? Like, I'm not saying that all female roles in the 30s and 40s were like bad roles. I'm not saying that. But this is just very different. She gets to be kind of a jerk. She gets to be strong and smart and clever. She's
a woman in a man's world at that
Right,
time. And
right.
I think that was something that
it's very
was
progressive
not,
for 1940. And the thing that if you look at the Bruce role, you can kind of see how that would absolutely have been the traditional woman role at the time, right?
Yeah.
Where like he's kind of bumbling, just played as a joke, always getting into trouble because he's just like doesn't understand how the world works because everything's he's just too pure and innocent, and like that is very much of the vein of the kind of role that they would give to a woman here. But because they reversed the other role, they reversed that role too, and I think that makes this movie like very interesting.
Really good, yeah.
And I mean, like, that's not to say it's a perfect movie in that regard. It still was written in the 40s. There's some very objectionable things and some ways that she's treated in The Office. And like her desire, like, I need to get out of this newspaper business so I can go home and do what a woman's supposed to do, which is stay at home and take care of the household and all that stuff. But it was 1940. But I mean, it is remarkable that this, just because Hawks recognized that
a woman could do the role.
These characters pinging off each other worked so much better if you had a woman in the role. That's great. And it makes this like a diamond in a rough.
I really do think that Rosalind Russell, who I have never seen, I don't think, in anything else. I was trying to look up the other movies that she had done, and nothing really even had stuck out to me very much. But she was even not the first choice for this role. She was like way down on the list. And because of that, she was very insecure about being the lead in this movie, knowing that she was opposite Cary Grant.
Cary freaking Grant, yeah.
Had this director. And so she, in feeling that insecurity, I think tried to do so much better in elevating her performance. And I think that really came across. And I think I told you this too, that with all of the like ad-libbing and stuff that they were encouraged to do, she had also recognized that the way that her lines were written were not as strong as Cary Grant's, which would make sense because the female role, they probably didn't give her as much just because she was the lesser name probably, and then being the woman too, and she didn't like that, and so she hired someone else in order to punch up her lines. And the director didn't mind that at all because he had encouraged the ad-libbing, and I think that probably helped a lot too. And I think that without her insecurity in that, the movie might have been very different. And so
I mean, that's what sometimes these movies are just like a series of coincidences or happenstances that come to make something that you just never would have seen at the time. And that's what this movie is, I feel. And it's so clever. Like it's like, and the reason we finished this movie and the first question I had for you was this based on a play? And it's because it's really a one set deal. I mean, there's technically two different sets and there's a few exterior shots that are clearly filmed in the back lot, but it mostly takes place in the press room at this courthouse. And there's like a bunch of characters there, and characters come in and out of the press house as the story. And that's the perfect like stage play setup, right? And it just, sometimes I just love these old plays turned into movies where like they're not doing anything flashy with the camera. There's nothing really with the setting that's that great. They're just relying on the performances and the dialogue to really sell the movie. And the fact that it works as well as it does, transferring from one thing to another, was just great. Just great. 12 Angry Men is another movie that I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I have not.
It's a stage play that they did the same thing with, and it's so good. It's just like the strength of performances. And
Fences,
really
I
good.
saw. That was a play
That's a
they
new
turned
one.
into
That's a
a
new
movie.
one,
That was a new one that they did really good job on that one. It was a long movie, but it was good. Yeah. So I'm really glad that we rewatched it. Well, I rewatched it
Yeah,
in my
I
older
loved it.
years, and that you got to watch it.
It's so funny. Like
It really
it's so
is.
funny. It's so clever. Like it's the type of movie
You
that I
know-
want to watch again and again because the dialogue is moving so fast.
You know what
like,
it kind of reminds me of?
I missed some of the humor. What?
Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, it's definitely a different.
I think it has the quippy.
The dialogue is it's a
speed.
different kind of dialogue, but yeah, the pace of it. I think you're right. Yeah, and the characters play off each other. I love both these characters. I like this is a movie that's not afraid for you to hate its characters by the end of it, and you kind of do. Like I mean, like it's a weird combination where like the end of the movie has Hildy basically half conned, half just coming to the realization that yes, she does indeed love this, love this kind of life. And you're like, you're not sure whether to be happy about that because like a woman commits suicide in this movie. Well, she doesn't die. I don't think it says she dies,
No,
but she
she
jumps
goes to
out of
the
a building
hospital.
and she goes to the hospital. Like
Which that part I forgot.
yeah, they've conned people. She's gotten her fiance because of this man. Her ex-husband is in prison for like he arrested 3 times in one day. It's really funny. And it just everything about them was terrible, and they're rewarded for their horribleness. Because like it's almost the movie is saying, yes, the press is bad, but the only thing worse than the press is the government. No, the government. Okay. Remember, because the sheriff and the mayor are like horribly corrupt, and we're going to execute. Really bad. They were going to execute this man for.
I mean, what a timely movie.
I don't quite agree with their depiction of the press is as uncharitable as possible. Yes. But I do believe that there are
it's more of a tabloid.
There are newspapermen and newspaperwomen that are like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would like the government was super, super corrupt. And this comes out as a very interesting time, right? This is 1940. So we really hadn't quite shifted full force into pro-America propaganda yet as World War II ramped up. I mean, World War II was happening in this movie, but the United States was not in it yet. So it kind of takes place right before that propaganda machine really popped up big time. And you wonder if a movie like this would have been able to be made 2 years after it was. Just because, like, do we really want a movie showing how corrupt and terrible the government is? Now, granted, it's not the federal government, so maybe they could have allowed it because it's still state and local, and it's actually the governor that's going to come in and be the hero because we're going to expose you to the governor. So maybe that's how they got around it. But yeah, I mean, incompetent, terrible, mean. The weird thing about it though is that this man that they're going to hang for this murder,
Earl Williams.
He did do it. Like it's never in doubt that he did the murder.
Yeah.
It's just that their argument is what should he be hung to death for this, right? Or what? Or like I think they're trying to say the argument is that he was not of right mind when he did it, so he should be in a mental institution instead of hung. I thought it's a weird take. Like, it's not like they're trying to free an innocent man. I mean, that would be a very easy way to get you on the side of these despicable reporters if what they were doing was to free an innocent man. And that's not really, they don't really actually care about that.
No, they don't.
It's just the story. They care about the story. They don't care about the guy himself. They care about their interaction with them, get them a great story.
And they get the front page headline.
Yeah, but they'll lie and say that this is all about freeing an innocent man or saving the life of a person who doesn't deserve to be killed or blah blah blah. But they don't care.
No, they don't care.
But that's the end of the movie. Is like
yeah,
it ends basically the way it starts with them she's back with him now
together at the newspaper.
And they're like, oh, can we go on a honeymoon this time? And he's like, yes, absolutely. And then to
Niagara
Falls. And then on the way,
they have to stop in Albany.
Breaking story in Albany. So like basically it's the movie's basically saying this is a vicious cycle that it's not going to stop. So it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But it's also funny and dark that it works.
So Scott, then what did it teach you about relationships?
What did it teach me about relationships?
Yeah, what did it teach you about relationships?
You know, it taught me that sometimes, even if you love a career, you don't have to love the person that you're in the career with. because I think the movie kind of creates this false choice, right? Where either she's going to go marry this guy and live up in Albany and be a housewife, or she's going to work in New York City as a newspaper woman for this despicable guy that doesn't actually give a shit about her, or only gives a shit about her up to a certain point. And it's like, well, see, you have more choices than that. You could stay divorced and work for a different newspaper. That's an option. It's not an option that the movie presents, but it's certainly an option. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's this kind of push and pull between the idea of career and the relationship. And I don't think the movie does a great job of presenting the idea that, you know, you can't have both of those things.
Yeah.
Those are not mutually exclusive things. So that's what it taught me about relationships, that we don't have to live in a world, and I'm not talking like you can have it all, but I mean, you can have a career and you can be in a relationship that's fulfilling and makes you happy. And you shouldn't throw all your eggs in one of those two baskets, but you can mix your eggs amongst those baskets. How about you?
I wonder if they were to remake it, like right now, and still do a male and female role, if they would have the end the same way.
I don't think so. I think if this movie's made in the 21st century, she does not get back together with him. That would be my guess.
And I think I would like that more.
Yeah. Because he is a despicable, conniving jerk. Like, I mean, it's part of the funny. Like, that's what makes the movie funny, is that how just like overtly terrible he's being in manipulating things to get her fiance out of the way and get her sucked into the world of storytelling in the news. And that's why it's funny. So I don't want them to change that. Like, I think that needs to stay. He needs to be a very overtly conniving jerk, and she needs to know he is, but can't help herself in sticking around because of the story.
Because of the story and because of the work, as opposed to
because of him,
the man. Yeah.
And
I think that's why she does stay. It's not for him
it's not
throughout
really
the whole
for
movie.
him.
And then just towards the very end, it's like all of a sudden she has a realization that she wants to be with him instead, because she wants to be at the newspaper.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's 1940s.
Yeah. That's the false choice, right? That either way, she has to be with a man. It's she can either go to work and be with this man, or not go to work and be with this man.
Yeah.
But either way, gotta be with a man. Yeah, that's the 40s of it showing through for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you learn anything about relationships? Don't be a Bruce. It's a good one.
Don't be a Bruce. Some people will jump fences. Some people will jump out of windows for you.
Yeah, I mean, the most beautiful love story in this whole movie is a love story between the murderer and the woman that
he
sheltered
met in
him.
the park. Yeah. I mean, that was true love right there.
It was true love. Those are the only two people in the movie that genuinely care about each other. Everyone else doesn't give a shit.
And they were awful.
Yeah.
They had awful fates. Not, yeah.
You can even argue that Aw Shucks incompetent Bruce doesn't love Hildy in the way that he should. In that his offering is, you must come with me to Albany and live this certain kind of life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everyone sucks in this movie except for the murderer. Go murderer.
Yeah, it's not a good story if that's the best person in the movie, is it?
So one last thing though.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies that I think if you make it now, it's a lot harder because of our technology. Or like one of the fun gimmicks of this movie is that each newspaper has a phone in the press room, and none of them are labeled, so they don't actually know whose phone is who. And there's a lot of back and forth between like people talking on phones at the same time, like people talking over each other as they're trying to break stories and read out copy to their newspaper and relay that stuff. And that just like that wouldn't work like in a 21st century press room. Everyone's just silent on their computer, like getting text notifications or like I kind of want them to remake this movie because I kind of want someone to pick up that challenge and see how they can make a fast pace.
You know what I keep thinking
movie
about is the show Newsroom with it. And I mean, like they had it wasn't, like phones, but it was the very big dynamic of, yelling across, trying to get the story, trying to get the, headline sort of thing. And that would be interesting. And I really liked the woman who was the lead. What was her name? She was also in Mary Poppins.
Blunt?
She was a fun... No, not Emily Blunt.
Oh, she's not Mary Poppins. She's
she was in Mary Poppins. She was the sister.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think
I
of
really
her.
liked her. That's who I want to be Hildy. I've decided. And I want Aaron Sorkin to do the screenplay.
Really? Emily Mortimer.
Emily Mortimer.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Sorkin would do a fantastic job, though, adapting it, because I think that he would be very intentional with the lines.
Yeah, he would. Aaron Sorkin
that would help.
has issues with writing women at times.
And he's not very funny.
Yeah, I think he is.
You think he is?
It's a different kind of humor than this is, but yeah.
Maybe
he
I don't
wrote
want him to
wrote
rewrite it.
Sports Radio. Is that what he wrote? Yeah, that was a comedy. He's funny.
Okay.
It's different. It's a different kind of humor.
Okay.
So that is His Girl Friday.
Who would I want
why
to
is
be?
Why is this movie called His Girl Friday, Elyse?
I read the trivia for it.
Okay.
I can't. Something about Robinson Crusoe
Yeah.
and about Friday being like your go-to person.
Yeah, like your
Or
man.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that wasn't even used in popular like culture for the time until the 1940s in this movie. Did you know that?
We did not know that.
I read that in the trivia.
So this coined the
His Girl Friday.
The Girl Friday.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because in Robinson Crusoe, he finds a man named Friday. Well, I think he names him Friday, and he becomes like his right hand dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, my man Friday.
Well, His Girl Friday, 1940s.
Yeah.
First time the phrase was used.
Wow, amazing.
Yep.
Amazing. Great movie.
So many barriers
Loved it.
this
5
breaking.
stars.
Wonderful.
Loved it. One of my favorite movies you've picked so far. More like this, please.
Okay.
All right, Elyse.
I don't remember what our theme is after for Murder, She Wrote, but I don't think it's going to be a good one for you to have a movie that you like a lot.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Next week on my pick for Murder, She Wrote, I picked the 1997 film L.A. Confidential.
Yes, you did.
This is a noir film that I quite like a lot, and I haven't watched in a bit, and I'm interested to see how this holds up.
Okay.
There's a lot of good actors in it, and also Kevin Spacey.
I mean, I told you, he's like the Michael Jackson of movies.
Sure.
It's true.
All right.
Oh, I remember.
Not now.
Okay.
All right, that is all we have time for you this week. If you like this podcast, you can check it and all the other shows we do over at our website, doofmedia.com. Elyse, what are those other shows that we got?
What do we got? We got Ward, we got Worm, we got all the shows. Let's start with M.
Good job.
We got
Good job.
wonderful shows.
There we go.
Yeah.
Also, consider donating to our Patreon account. That's patreon.com/doofmedia. Every bit that you donate helps us put on the defer the expenses of putting on this show, our hosting costs, cost to rent the movies. We didn't have to in this case, which is good.
We didn't. We owned it and we're able to watch it on Prime.
Yeah, it also helps
it's
us-
free on Prime, so everyone should go watch it.
Yeah, everyone go watch it. It also helps us with equipment, software, growing this thing, reaching new people. And so we really appreciate those of you who take the time to become a patron. There's a bunch of cool rewards and things that you get for supporting us on Patreon. You can check that all out at that website, which is linked in the show notes. Still no $5 reward tier. Elyse is working on that.
I
But,
told you what I thought a good idea was, and then you were like, you can't explain it on the episode. I think you cut it because I listened back, and this conversation. I don't remember being in that
Yeah, I'm
episode
going to have
last
to
week.
cut this one now, too. Awesome.
But I told you about it after the show, and then you were
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, well, that's a good thing. You got to keep workshopping it.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't have to keep workshopping it.
Yes, you do.
I have a good idea.
You got to pitch me on it. And so
I pitched you, and you were like,
pitched me
yeah,
an
that's a good
incomplete
idea.
You pitched me an incomplete idea. Tighten her up. Tighten the screws.
You tighten screws.
All right, guys. We will see everyone next week when I talk about LA Confidential. Elyse,
I'm going to talk about it too.
when I bring you La Confidential, which is Spanish for the
You're going to make that
Confidential.
joke so many times this week.
No, I'm not.
Are you ready to
just the
watch The Confidential?
That's just the one. I love you. Don't be upset with me.
I love you too.
Thank you for letting me watch this movie.
You're welcome.
I learned so many good things. I learned
Good.
you have a good taste every once in a while.
Yep.
Not every day.
Got you.
But some days.
Mm-hmm. That's a compliment. Did you not even acknowledge that?
I was just so taken aback by a compliment that I didn't quite know how to react.
I don't give them out very often.
I know. We'll see everyone next week.
I love you.
Goodbye.
Bye.